So I've rocked every room in the house today. It's Sunday and just going back down nostalgia road, listening to 80s music. So the best part of my childhood was when I was 12 to 14 and I was listening to really good music today and they all were similar. They were all 1983. So you had Judas Priest, you had Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind. You had Def Leppard with Pyromania. You had Ozzy with Bark at the Moon. And I'm just like, wow, 1983. I mean, just everyone was pumping out amazing music. And that was the best part of my childhood because that was where I was still living in like a Leave It to Beaver family, the household. My parents were ultra straight. They were like out of the 50s, kind of like the Leave It to Beaver sitcom. And my sister and I were sheltered. And we had an upper middle class upbringing. My parents owned their own business, a rental yard. And life was great. I just listened to music in headphones and would skip doing my homework and just listen to music and look out the window and fantasize about the girls that I wanted that I never got. And beating up the bullies. And it just seemed like life was so simple. And, America was doing great in the 80s and 90s. We were in a huge bull run in the stock market. People were using credit cards more than ever. The cell phone was just coming out, that huge brick thing. And, you know, cool shows on TV. And I mean, I was brought up on TV and music. And today I'm 52 and I wanted to go down memory lane because I feel like my whole life is being put into perspective. I've been having a lot of chest pain lately. So, last week I went to the ER and I thought I was going to die. I've already had a heart attack. This is actually the 20th anniversary of my first heart attack 20 years ago. And then, so this scare would be, I'm not having a heart attack. I'm just saying that I was pretty freaked out. And this time around, I'm taking it seriously. When I was younger and I had heart pain or I had that heart attack, I was like, oh, it's a fluke. It didn't mean anything. And I partied harder than ever. In fact, when I had heart pain after the surgery, the stent, angioplasty, whatever, I had heart pain for a while. And I was like, oh, I just need to drink more alcohol to thin my blood because that's why I feel my heart pain. I mean, my thinking was twisted. So anyways, today I felt like going down memory lane and just listening to Judas Priest and Ozzy, and then Def Leppard came on, and then some old Van Halen. And I just remember how simple life was. And now today it's more of a spiritual battle between good and evil. And I take my mortality very seriously now. And most of my life I was very self-centered, like we all were, and I was alcoholic. I hurt a lot of people, and now I'm trying to be a good guy. And I'm finally with a girl that we've been together 14 years. We don't fight a lot. It's the most healthy relationship I've ever had. I'm close to Jesus. I'm praying every single day. Money is okay. Money is coming in. First time in my life, I was broke for most of my life. So now money is good. And I'm like, if I died right now, it'd probably be a good time. But then I'm like, no, I gotta stay here and fight. And, I was getting really scared. But then when I was listening to the 80s music, there was a lot of attitude and a lot of, rock until you die kind of thing. And I'm rocking now after 50 years of rocking back and forth. I'm still rocking. And I hope that you guys are still rocking in your way, that you haven't been sucked into this drama, this fear and anger matrix that we see on TV, and there's so much hostility everywhere. People are freaking out and people are dying left and right, way too young from mysterious reasons. and we're getting gaslighted by the media, and we're getting censored. And it just feels good to go back to the old roots and feel good, just even if it's just one day. You know, Misha and I have this old cat, this Maine Coon. He's 16, almost 17. And he's got ear problems, so he's always like scratching and he won't let you pet his head. But after dinner tonight, I just kind of massaged his neck until he melted like butter on the carpet. And I almost fell asleep with him. It was like a mini cat nap. And I just, that 5 minutes was worth all the money in the world, because it's life and we're just doing this innocent thing together, just napping and resting after a meal. And we take these things for granted. You know, last week when I thought I was dying and I was in the ER, everything seemed bleak and dark. There was no optimism. You know, I wasn't the optimistic guy. I wasn't smiling and thinking about my future with Misha and Jesus and all that stuff. I was like on my deathbed in a way, and it felt just empty and sad and depressing. And I'm sure that's what Satan wants me to feel, is to feel hopeless. But I'm slowly starting to feel better, and I'm losing weight. I'm 189 right now. Misha's going to be gone for 13 more days. When she comes back, I want to be like 180, which would be a 3-year record. You know, I haven't been 183 for a while. So that's the other thing that makes makes me feel younger, is losing weight, because you just feel lighter and more limber, and less problems. I don't want to go to doctors. I don't want to be on meds. So I got the short haircut, which I had in my 20s. Now, if I can get back to 170, then that would be exactly how I was in my 20s. 170, short hair. But now I have more wisdom, and I have more money, and I have God. Because back then I didn't have any of those things. But I was happy because it was simple. I didn't have money. I lived in a school bus. I didn't have any credit cards. I rode a Schwinn Cruiser around town. And I was ripped, buff. I was in shape because I went to Job Corps for 9 months, and it was hard work working on tugboats. And when I came back to Port Townsend, before I started drinking, I was ripped and just rode my Schwinn Cruiser around town, and it was simple. And I just want that back. I just want simple. And it sucks every single day to think about good and evil. And, you know, do I have demons? And is Jesus in my life? Am I going to heaven, or am I going to hell? Have I made amends enough? You know, I hurt a lot of people, and that's just the byproduct of drinking for, 20 years. So at the end of the day, what still stands is that fighting spirit of the 80s music, the Iron Maiden, Trooper, Judas Priest, Breaking the Law, Pyromania, really good music. And there's an optimism in the 80s. That was way before people were red-pilled. That was way before all this stuff coming out, that we're in this screwed up matrix controlled by the elites. And I just wanted to go back to the simple days. I used to be so happy just riding my bike in circles in the driveway, my parents. So I say that between 12 and 14 was the best time of my childhood, because when I was 14, I broke into my neighbor's house and I got arrested. And that's when the Leave It to Beaver show was over. My parents became very strict. My dad almost beat my face in. My mom wouldn't speak to me. I was chaperoned straight from school to home. I was grounded. And then I gave my dad the silent treatment until he kicked me out when I was 18. But I'm glad he kicked me out, because there's a lot of kids that live with parents till they're 25 now, even older, man-childs. And nothing against you if that's what you do. But I learned a lot by being kicked out. I kind of had to man up and grow up. And with this heart scare, I feel like I have to man up and grow up again, because now I'm dealing with the big picture. I mean, this is life or death. It's not fun and games anymore. I was watching David Lee Roth on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's got a missing tooth. He's 69 years old, and he's just bullshitting. I mean, I thought I would enjoy the interview, but he was just full of garbage. Just rambling, talking about all these things, and all his interest and stuff, and he wasn't grounded. There was no like sincerity, no vulnerability, no humbleness. And maybe that's just his generation. He's 70. Maybe that's what they do. They like to tell jokes, and they don't like to get real or personal. You're not supposed to show your real emotions. But I'm the complete opposite. I'm 52, and I'm like, I'm putting it all out there. I talk about everything on this channel. I talk about masturbating, feeling scared, perversion, sobriety. So leave a comment if you relate to any of this, because I feel like we've lost our country. I feel like we've lost the world so far. It's all this agenda. I don't want to dive into it, but I don't want to be part of the plan. If anything, I want to, like Timothy Leary said, what do you say? Tune in, turn off, tune in, tune in, turn on, tune in, and drop out, or something like that. And he was the LSD guru. Tune in, turn on, and drop out. And basically what he was saying was turn on to psychedelics and then drop out of society. But I would like to do it sober, with the Holy Spirit, and with fasting, and with not watching TV, and unplugging from the TV, from media. Just get back to basics, just rocking, listening to old music, praying to God all day, losing weight. American Beauty, that movie, Kevin Spacey, American Beauty. He was going through a midlife crisis, and he was masturbating in bed next to his wife, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And they were going through a divorce, and he kind of got infatuated with his daughter's best friend, and she was like an 18-year-old girl. And so he started lifting weights and smoking doobie and driving a hot rod. And I don't feel like I'm quite like that. I mean, maybe it's a midlife crisis of some sort, but it's more of a spiritual, it's like a bubble popped. And I'm just like, I'm going to just get back to the essence of why we're here. And that's to shine our light, and to be love, and love each other, and forgive. Unconditional love, like Jesus gives us. And it's simple, but it takes discipline, because you can't turn to your flesh. You can't just masturbate, or eat whatever you want, or go cheat, or it's more regimented, but it's simple and it's blissful. I just want peace. I want peace, and I want bliss, and you can get both of those from God. You can't get it from sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's just a lie. That's an illusion. So that's my ramble. Leave a comment. I love you guys, and we got this. We're in a battle. We're in a spiritual battle. We can turn to our addictions, or we can turn towards God, turn towards the light. And the monks have it right. The monks just worship all day long. They garden. They do their little chants all day, and it's simple. And they have tremendous, they have superpowers. A lot of those what are they called? Those Asian monks that can do amazing like karate moves. The Sholong monks. I think that's how you pronounce them. They can do these tremendous moves, and they can heat up wet towels on their backs and change their body temperature, and it's all like the breath work, like Wim Hof, breathing exercises, there is a lot of power in the breath. There's a one last thing. There's a book called the Essenes, and it was cut out of the Bible. And the Essenes, they were all about fasting, and they would call on the angel of water, the angel of air, the angel of earth, and the angel of sun to cleanse them during their fast. And I took last couple days when I've taken a shower or a bath, I've always called in the angels of what I just said. And I always feel renewed after taking a bath or showering. And there's really a tremendous amount of power in water. Because my heart was hurting a little before the shower today, and I called in the angels, and after my shower I felt rejuvenated. I feel amazing right now. There's no heart pain. I've been praying all day. I've been going down memory lane with the 80s music, and life is pretty good today. So signing off, leave a comment, like this video, and we'll see you tomorrow.